And hello and welcome to the second of our panel discussions today, supply chain challenges within Europe. Truthfully, there's been supply chain challenges across the world actually, but we're going to focus here today on specifically the European challenges. And I'm joined, of course, today by Jean-Louis, Chicho from from Mesegi. And of course, Adrian from ScienceScope. So welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to be here.
So, let's first of all just take a quick look at the overall picture with the reshoring and the movement of manufacturing coming back to Europe. There's discussion about, obviously, a lot of chip fabs getting manufactured over here, getting built over here, and other support industries. How much do you think that's going to help European manufacturers? Start off with you. Yeah.
All right, thanks for inviting me, first of all. And I think that in the last year we have seen how delicate the supply chain was. We didn't realize that until we saw that problems with the component shortages. Mm-hmm. All the companies had to switch to just-in-case storage management, and this created a chain reaction with a lot of problems. I've visited several companies in the last years, and I saw all of them, without exclusion, had problems with the storage because of the lack of space, a huge amount of components, and also the increase in the price of the components. So it was a real challenge for everyone. So I think it's really good that Europe is now working as US, as Japan, as other countries to increase the number of the production of chips here in Europe. Yeah. And this will also obviously increase the possibilities in the European market.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think it'll help to if we get more components getting built back here in Europe, then to support European business, it's going to reduce the risk of other geopolitical events in other parts of the world. Do you have a view on this, Adrian?
Yeah, it's quite an interesting concept, and like Jose said, it was a really, let's say, eye-opening for our clients to see that you need to also pay attention to material management. So you really need to focus on not only on production equipment, but also on material management. And during this hard time with COVID and then the war and everything, it was quite clear that we need to build on that. Yeah. And the response from the market, also for us and also for SEGI, was quite good. And we increased the market really high. Yeah. And we increased it from material incoming to testing, because we also have the X-ray inspection that were testing the equipment for counterfeit. And that was really, really a good, let's say, compensation on the business.
Yes. Well, I mean, we'll come on to counterfeit in a minute, but that is a very important area. And you're right to say that materials management is the key area to focus on, because it's the single biggest area, I think, within the factory for reducing machine downtime and saving a lot of cost on manufacturing. So let's talk about that, because that's where your specialism is, both of you gentlemen. So starting at goods inwards, what do you think the benefit is of having been able to look at the components when they come in, measure them, and catalog them at goods inward?
Well, I think that I think that companies have been forced to go from just-in-time to just-in-case. When you go to just-in-case storage management, you increase your warehouse size anyways. Mm-hmm. And when you increase your warehouse size, your cost is increases also at the end of the year, right? To offset that, manufacturers have to improve their internal processes with automation, with better processes, and that's where we come in. Mm-hmm. We come in to improve those processes inside the company so that the company can really become efficient, save as much as money as possible that are saved then to other investments that can be done for the company to improve. So we take care of the registration of the material flow to the SMT lines, to the main warehouse, and that's where the automation is helping companies to improve and keep control over the stock. That's the most important thing today. The IPC standards make it very complicated to handle the material. When we have to handle a screw, it's very simple. When we have to handle a reel, which requires moisture sensitivity or whatever, FIFO, FEFO, logics, etc., it becomes more expensive. You require more people. So that's where we can really help to the process to be smooth and save money, time, and resources for the companies.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying. I think it's really important at the goods inward that you get accurate barcoding and accurate measurement of the number of components you have on these reels, because if you don't know what you have, then you need to know what you can make and so that getting an accurate control of what your stock is the first step.
It's not only about getting the accurate stock in, it's also about avoiding the mistakes.
Yep.
So using our systems, you can avoid the human error mistake. Not avoid, but you can really eliminate it. So you're eliminating the human error mistakes of data entry into your system and of relabeling. And you can do that in a standard, still using an operator, or you can do it fully automatic. So it is a really nice process where you are doing everything as it should do and as the standard elite it is requiring. And moving to, like Jose said, you are doing into the production and then you have a lot of storage. So SEG is more, let's say, focusing on the storage of the reels with MSD and everything, and we are more to the next to the line. So accessibility. So it's a complementary solution.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, Adrian, the business of counterfeit. So where would you put the counterfeit detection systems in? Would you put them in at goods inward right when the components come into the factory at that point, or would you put them further into the process?
A lot of clients are now, because of the big income of counterfeits, are placing the X-ray inspection into the close to the income area. So it is moved from production or quality to the income, and we see this more and more.
Right. That's interesting. Okay. So then we've catalogued the components. We know what we've got. We know they're good. We take them forward into storage systems. What are the key features that we need to have in a storage system?
Well, I think that if we go to see for the problems that companies are facing today, we can see what are the major features we should provide to the market. And I can say that all the companies are facing same problems related to the material management. Yeah. Surely the speed is one of the most important things, because the SMT lines are requiring material with a certain speed. Yep. SMT lines are faster and faster, more and more, and so we need to be able to provide that material immediately. The material should not be outside of a storage for hours. It should be immediately out and go to production.
I agree.
Normally, the changeover time is a big problem for companies. And also material returning from the SMT line back to the warehouse is also a big problem. Normally it takes hours or days to go back to the main warehouse so the material can be reused. So being able to quickly pull out a kit or being able to store immediately this material is tremendously important, because in this way the company can optimize the amount of material that is running around the company. Obviously, then we have MSD control, which is also extremely important in this market, especially in automotive, aerospace, military, medical. Those sectors needs this automation in controlling MSD. And we are able to provide all that with our solutions. So I think that those are the major savings. The major saving actually is when the SMT line doesn't stop. So as long as we provide material to the line, this is where the benefit comes.
Yeah, maximum uptime. But I mean, here's a question, Jose. a lot of these materials are taken from the storage towers to the kitting area.
Yeah.
And they sit in the kitting area, and then they're taken to the line. Would you rather see a system where they're basically taken from the storage tower straight to the line?
Straight, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I go to a customer and ask them, when you run an analysis to check if you can run a product or not, do you believe your software? And they say, no, obviously. And I say, when do you realize that you can really run this product? Only when the box or the trolley is there with the material ready. The advantage we can give with this kind of solutions is that you don't need to ask. The material is there. When you ask our system, can I manufacture this product? The software replies, yes, you can believe that, because we have a camera that is recording all the material getting in. It's like having a human, let's say, preparing the kit in advance, but without pulling it out.
Right.
So it's a great advantage being able to reorganize. For example, when we have a customer that has a change on the schedule, it's a big problem when you manage material manually, because the material is already out for other kits. You cannot go there to pick material to reorganize your new schedule.
And quite
right?
often you don't know where it is. And
When the material instead is in the towers, you can reorganize the production without even taking material from future jobs that you were planning. And so we are able to react, and that's even more important, being able to react to changes, because today things are changing quite quickly in production. So we are able to really supply the change actually. Yeah.
so, Adrian, what's your take on this? Would you prefer to see the materials going straight from the tower to the line and avoiding the kitting area in some way? Or
This is a perfect, let's say, example where Jose said that you need to send them from the tower directly to the production because you don't know where they are. And this is why I said ScienceScope is coming with a complementary solution that provides you full traceability of the reels inside of your production room. So even if you take it from the warehouse to next to the line, you have the smart towers from our side that is mobile with a UPS, so you have full traceability also on the road from warehouse to the production line. Also, when you're in the production line waiting for them to be kitting or just replenish the reels that goes out of the pick and place, you have full traceability and communication with the pick and place. And this is, of course, something that also SEdge is doing. But for all of the reels that are coming from the towers to the production line, you have full traceability using the smart racks and the mobility of it.
Right.
So it's a complementary solution. It's not one that's pulling out the other.
Okay.
And
It's completing the flow of the material, because ScienceScope solution is giving a location to the material that reaches the line.
Yes.
While we are bringing this material to the line, then placing that material to the racks is actually a smart solution. So it's completing, let's say, the last step before reaching the line.
Is that not still one area where you could have the potential for human error, because they put the right reels on the right, onto the right feeders?
nowadays, the pick and place providers also have double checks. So it's not about putting the wrong component onto the system, because this is taken care at the entry point when you're making sure the right label is on the right reel. So this is with the IMS systems, regardless if they are still operated by the operator or fully, let's say, inline. But this is already taken care at the entry gate. The smart racks and the towers are to, let's say, eliminate the waiting time and to provide you full traceability of your reels in your warehouse or in your production.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so it's basically the real challenge is having the material at the line. The right material in the right feeder is not anymore a challenge. It has been fixed by pick and place suppliers. So it doesn't happen anymore that somebody will assemble the wrong component. What happens is that in a manual management, it can happen that the wrong reel gets to the line, the line stops, they cannot load this reel because it's wrong, so they have to run back to the warehouse, search for the new reel. Meanwhile, the line stops 30 minutes, 40 minutes, And that's where the disadvantage comes, and
Right.
costs.
And a lot of times I have the feedback from the clients that I send the right material out, but another operator from another line comes and grabs it because his part numbers was over and he find it into the next line. So this is
That
great.
just messes things up, doesn't it?
Yep. And then you can see, like you said, 45 minutes, 1 hour searching for the material that you know it should be there, but it's not.
Right.
In this way, you have full traceability, and you know when one reel was removed without authorization, and even more if you scan the badge, you know who removed it or who placed it in. So it's closing the loop.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, how many companies, or what percentage of companies do you think have implemented a materials management strategy in Europe?
Not enough.
I'm sure. As a salesperson, you're going to say that, but I mean, is it 20%? Is it 30%?
So I see that with the problem faced last year and still now, this has increased incredibly. So I would say that a huge amount in terms of percentage of companies realized that they have to fix the problem. Now, how many of them have implemented a solution already? I don't know. But I know that probably 80% of them realize now that they have a problem.
Do something, yeah.
And so they are looking for solutions. And they search, first of all, there is a warehouse manager that is looking for solutions to store a lot of material. There is a difference between all the material and SMT material. So we're trying to help those companies understand that the solution is not in a massive warehouse, but is in a combination of the two. Something to store everything and something to be quick to deliver to the lines. This is a combination of solutions.
So do you think just that it's the MSD devices that need to be stored in the tower, where it's humidity control, but the other materials can be in a bigger warehouse?
No, what I mean is that we can be a buffer, let's say, for a week production.
Okay.
But the rest of the components for a month or 2 months production should be somewhere else, because otherwise the return on investment, payback period will never come. And also, in terms of space needed for a tower, let's say, to store 120,000 reels will be huge compared to solutions that can go vertical.
Yes.
And on top of this, there is no reason to spend so much money to move a reel one time. It is better to take advantage of an investment when the reel is moving several times to the SMT lines, and that's where the benefit comes. There is really no need to invest in automation to the unique ID in the main warehouse. Today, there is no solution actually available in the market to do that with a reasonable ROI. So,
So on this topic, like you're perfectly right. You are a buffer for 1-2 weeks. And on the big warehouse where you store the reels on the pallets, because completely boxed and everything, we have developed a system where we implemented the sensor and an LED.
Yeah.
So on each pallet that you store in, you scan the unique ID of the pallet, and you know, like a boom list, but it's not a boom list. It's the list of what you have inside of that pallet.
Right.
So we optimize that part also. So that's why I said it's a complementary solution between us and SEG, because they are really good on having, let's say, 1 to 2 weeks buffer, and then we are really good on next to the line and also before that 1 to 2 weeks buffer. So it's always different solutions, but in the end, it is in the interest of the client to make more traceability and the best traceability for their lines.
Yeah. Well, fascinating subject, guys, and one that's really important and right at the heart of manufacturing today. So I want to thank you for coming in and telling us your views on it. You know, hopefully we'll get to discuss this again sometime in the future. But for now, I want to thank you, Jose, for your input, and Adrian for your input from ScienceScope.
Thank you for having us.
Okay.
thank you, Trevor.
Okay.
Thanks for having us.
Okay. And thank you to our viewers for watching today. We'll be coming back shortly with a final roundup for the activities from SMT Connect today.